What you see there is Uxbridge Civic Centre. You see a cherub with a blue star and an inverted crucifix, and you see pagan sun worship. That's just inside the door. But what was this building designed for? I'm not so sure. They told us the truth. But let's see what an inverted pentagon means. First of all, an inverted pentagon. The upside down cross or inverted cross is a symbol with a long history. Turn a cross upside down becomes a means of denying the truth of Christ. What does the Bible say about women walking outside the home? Well, that's what it says. Okay, so you have pagan sun worship, denying Christ, Civic Centre, and you have who built the Civic Centre, designed by a Gray, Miss Jane Gray. Gray, huh? Okay, so we have a lot of photographs here of the pyramid they call the Civic Centre. Now this is from the front, right down along the sides. You can put big long queues around to the back here. Yeah, this is like a big huge facility. It's a pyramid. Now look, that's just the car park there, like prison gates. That's a bit of overkill because the place has security on it 24/7 and it's full of cameras. Now look at that. That's a big huge chimney. And that is a pyramid as you're walking in. That's a furnace for burning stuff. There's the entrance to the child snatchers. That's where they take the children from the people. That's where they break the hearts of the fathers by taking the children off them for all these mouthy, loud single moms that don't want to stay at home. And then they're on the whims of an owl yoke. They come and take the children and lock the fathers up. The prisons are full of fathers who've been wronged by the system and the women. And the hearts are broken. And it says the Lord is near to a broken heart. So he has to send a few angels. It's law. There's the place across the road. It looks like a car park, but it's a big cage. And hold loads of people. Now see these places here, look. What are they for if you open them up? They're gates, and underneath them is a big so you can slide down, stuff down into the underground what they call a car park. You see all along here leading up to it. There's the H. You see the H, the big furnace for burning stuff. But there's you slide down into the car park. You just open them up and you drop wherever it is. You're dropping down and it just slides down into there, and you burn it in the furnace on the far side. And there's, look at it, there's the back of it. So you come around here from the front, big lines, big queues. There's the furnace there, the big H furnace. Remember, this was built after the war. It was built 30 years ago. I'm sure it might have been built by a Labour government. We all know Labour governments are heathen swine that don't love Jesus. The usurpers of the Christian truth. And look at this. You can observe everything from there over across. If I was to put a couple of fellas up there with rifles, sniper rifles, you could oversee all of this. And there's a big cooling facility on the top which was for taking in air. And there's the place next door there. There's the front of the Civic Centre, there's the subway across the road. Apparently this facility goes down deep underground and there's the H, look, you see it going through the trees. So I have an inverted pentagon there, look. It's definitely inverted and it's on the back of a cherub. So, what was it designed for? Is it designed for? Well, it's not designed for Christians according to what this says there. It's not designed for Christians. And I noticed as of a lot of people, since the advent of since the end of World War II, slowly but surely, the rights of the Christian indigenous populations of the British Isles have been eroded away, piece by piece. You should rule over your wife. How can a man rule over his wife if she picks up the phone and calls a load of communists to come and steal the children and the father? How do you rule over your wife? So there's one thing that to facilitate the stealing of a man's honour and his honour price. And a woman rules over a man, the immoral woman from the book of Proverbs. She's immoral. The prisons are full of men who've had their children taken simply because a woman picked up a phone and called the police. I know girls that do it all the time, a gang of girls. They find a new man, and then when they're finished with him, they wind him up until he wears up on them, and then they call the police and get him 6 months. You know, the coppers, because they like the attention from the coppers when they come around. So what you're looking at there is the destruction of the Galatians in a facility built by a Mrs. Gray. A Miss Gray, huh? Miss Gray, huh? It's a strange name for the pyramid, pagan sun worship, isn't it? The Greys, what do we know about the Greys? Hold on, let me see, there might be something here about them. Let's see what we know about the Greys. Okay, look, another underground facility, except it's under the bank, and what's that? This is a big Grey with a woman kneeling down next to it and a man. They could be pagan idolaters praying to a giant Grey. And there's the people who facilitate the stealing of the men's children, and they worship a goddess. That's the Bar. The Bar is a derivative of a Hebrew word meaning Baal, Bar, the Hebrew for Canaanite god of child sacrifice. And what does it say there? Wise conduct is the key to happiness. Ruled by their gods, always and forever them. The gods are always referred to as them. And you see this one is raising up her left hand, not her right hand, because she's a lefty. She's a lefty piece of shit. And there's another lefty there, look at Giant. You see his left hand is up. There's a hybrid. That's a Grey mixed with a human, I think. That's what a hybrid looks like. The Pharaoh Akhenaten. Let me see if I can get him up here. Picture of Akhenaten, A-C-K Pharaoh Akhenaten. There we go. Elongated skull, hybrid. Look, there's his wife. Cannibalism. Psalms 27. My enemies and foe came against me to devour my flesh. So, but the thing about in the Bible says they will be caught by their own snares. So if they built that pyramid for any untoward reasons towards Christians, it's going to have a reverse osmosis, because the Lord keeps his word. He says if that pyramid was built for doing anything to Christians, it's going to be used on the enemies. That's the way it works, because they have imagined the mischief. There's the board of background. What's it on these things? There, look, subway. There's another subway, and there's a Giant coming up from underneath. So you see, hold on a second. There's a plough. Where did that go? Where did that go? There's a plough on the wall. Now hold on a second, you see there's the awakening. And there's loads of people and Giants, look, see them? There's an air vent sucking stuff under the ground, air under the ground. There's another element. So this is all linked to pyramids and stuff and hybrids. What is a hybrid? A hybrid is a crossbreed between a fallen angel who consider themselves to be gods. There's a lot of missing children, there's lots of missing, it's all linked to missing children, and everybody's sitting on their ass doing nothing about it, leaving it up to the very few brave souls who go out and combat them, while everyone else wants to worry about their plasma TV screens and stuff like that. They don't want to do anything about, like the fact that there's a pyramid, to pagan sun worship, the usurpation of the Christian kingdom of the Britons. There's the bull of Bashan, there's the harp, you can see that on the Crown Corporation, so what they're saying that that's a harp, yeah, there's a bull of Bashan. There's a meat cleaver, that's called a bull of castle. These are all linked because these are all institutions which have been invaded. Now these institutions were created by Christian Pro-Testament men, learned Christian scholars. The institution of the council, that's what it was for, to help the people. But the servants seem to think that the masters these days. You know what I mean? All of these people are supposed to provide a public service, but what they provide is a usurpation of a communist lefty ideology, which is trying to destroy the Western culture of the Galatians, the Christians, which they inherited from my father's fathers on the Rock of Cashel, the original seat of Christendom, where they got the harp from and the Stone of Destiny from the O'Neills. And there's the banner. There's the banner of David. To every cow it's calf, to every manuscript it's copy. Breton law, that's the laws that existed in these lands to keep the peace between the Irish and heathen swine Dan, the tribe of Dan, the child eaters, the child munchers. Look. Now the lefties are the Catholic Church in disguise, so what they do is every now and then when they get a new religion, they bring it up this way to slowly but surely erode away what was left of my people's dignity and home. And what they do is they dumb down people, because people aren't going to do nasty shit if they're true blue Christians. They're not going to do all that nasty shit. They're going to have a moral compass and stuff like that, but when they can break people down to become communists and to worship idols, that's when they, or to say that what they do is they channel in these entities called the microbials. That's what they call them, microbials, and they give them the technology. Hitler and all was mad into channeling microbials, and he brought in the what you call it, they brought in the technology that they have now. What we see around us today was supposedly channeled in from a race of entities called the microbials. Now when Jesus banished the demons out of man and they jumped into the pig, they said, "We are legions, we are many." Microbes is death. The product of sin is death. So if you have legions and legions of microbes in your body, you're gonna die. Or if you have microbes in your brain, you'll start to hallucinate. You'll be sitting on the chair beside a person, but mentally and spiritually you won't be there. You'll be having a trance. You could be in a living hell. So although you might inhabit the same place as another individual, physically, mentally and spiritually you'll be totally somewhere else. Microbes do that to you. Viruses, bacteria, it's similar to what happened. God says man shall not lie but man, and then all of a sudden the HIV virus turned up in the 70s, and promiscuity was probably at its worst between heterosexual, bisexual and homosexual, and the disease spread because the abandoning of the church. Microbes, bacteria, all of these things. So if you ever see microbes when they multiply, people get rabies, they have a terrible fear of water. Microbes, viruses, death is coming to them, and then it spreads, but they rant and they turn out. So the product of the wages of sin is death. So what's the big sin that you see when you look